Welcome to the New Indian Woman, and I'm your host Krishna. In this podcast, we will examine the challenges faced by us in managing our lives and our families. In each episode, we will also look at the techniques that worked for different women, examine how to adapt it for us in today's context, and learn from each other. You will get actionable strategies set in the Indian context on a wide variety of topics, right from identifying your passion to better productivity and parenting. Welcome to episode 7 of New Indian Woman. In the last episode, we examined some of the questions around food and it not being limited to meeting the basic needs of hunger and nutrition. Today, we will look at how to do meal planning and see its benefits. I will start with how I do it in my house. Considering your typical routines, I would strongly suggest you make a meal plan for a week in advance. You don't need any hi-fi app or website to do this. Just start with a plain paper and pen. I keep a bunch of one-sided papers from my children's homework and I use the same to do meal planning. In my house, we buy the vegetables for the week on Fridays or Saturdays, and before I wash them and keep them in the fridge, I sit down to do the meal plan. I prefer to buy the seasonal vegetables and fruits first and then make the meal plan. It's totally up to you if you want to first make the meal plan and then buy accordingly. I draw a simple table on paper. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday written one below the other on the left side, and the meals, breakfast, lunch, evening snacks, dinner, etc. from left to right. You may please refer the show notes for link to a sample and also a downloadable format for the same. So I fill up the meal plan based on the following factors. Vegetables that need to be used first are planned up front. I try to make some traditional salads on weekends so that they can be eaten fresh. Millets for at least 2 days a week. Some chana or soaked beans for 1 day. A combination of wheat-based, rice-based for dinners. Easy to cook items for the nights when I know I will be back late. Then factoring in effort required. Since I cook breakfast and lunch at the same time early in the morning, in case a lunch item is more elaborate in terms of cooking effort, I make the breakfast simple or vice versa. I optimize what side dish goes with what. I always have some fallback options for emergency. Then what is better suited for packed lunches versus eat at home? For most part of the meal plan, I incorporated dishes where I don't have to look for recipes. I have a master list of all things that I make. I refer this list to make sure that I am able to have sufficient variety with the same vegetables. For example, there is a particular type of sambar I make with brinjal frequently. When I see the master list, that is when I remember, oh, there are these 2 other types also that I know and I haven't made them for a long time. One of the weekend days, I make some dish that is different by referring to some recipes. Such dishes that were tried out earlier and liked by all are also there as reference in my master list in a separate section. Otherwise, any recipes that interest me, I have a Pinterest account where I keep separate boards for dinner, lunch, etc. So it is easy to refer those and put one item in the meal plan. Just one new item per week in the new meal plan. That's fine. The next part is I make this plan when everyone is around doing something or the other. I ask for suggestions. Sometimes the children surprise me by asking for a particular dish with a vegetable which the last time I made it, they would not have liked it so much. To be very frank, deciding what to make is the most difficult task for me. I find cooking it easier. Preparing this meal plan doesn't take a lot of time, 15-20 minutes max. Once the plan is ready, I just put it up on the fridge. This helped a lot, especially in the early years when my kids were toddlers and we had some help who would also cut veggies for us. My mother-in-law would refer the menu and give the vegetables to her and ask for it to be cut the required way. This helped cut down the time we had to spend in chopping, especially for some kinds of vegetables like cluster beans, etc., which is effort intensive. If you are a beginner to cooking, just focus on getting to learn a few basic items. Make your master list with these. Please make sure you include easy to cook items here. You would slowly be able to add more items to this set. Do refer to show notes for some useful links for these. If you're already running the house well with a full-fledged kitchen, try out the meal plan to get more benefits out of it. Incorporate ideas based on all the questions we examined at the start of this podcast. In my house, over the years, we have started baking a lot. My son and me do baking together, and it is indeed fun to do it together. Now, my husband and my son recently started learning to make sourdough bread, and they bond over the same. And I love those Sundays when I don't have to make breakfast because it's already done by them. I love reading the magazine section on Sunday mornings and enjoying the breakfast when they serve it. The very visible benefits of meal planning are definitely a more balanced and nutritious meal option for most meals of the week. Without meal planning, I would not have been able to consistently introduce millets or salads in my diet. Emergency options. It helped to have emergency options on reserve. As part of the menu planning, I always decided upfront what would be my emergency option if the need arose. Like, did I have enough potatoes so that I could make a simple dish that gets done along with the rice? Or do I have an emergency pack of instant noodles? Yeah, you may be wondering why I am talking about instant noodles here. Isn't it supposed to be a dirty secret? Well, once I decided I will use it for emergency only, I bought just 2 packets a month, if at all I had not used what was bought in the previous month. And this was for real emergency. In our house, store-bought bread is another emergency option. Same is the case with red poha, with which without even cooking, a quick and filling snack can be dished out within 5 minutes. Another benefit of meal planning is the effective use of resources. Here I am referring to 2 kinds of resources. First is the raw materials used to prepare the food. When I make the meal plan, I make sure the vegetables left in the fridge are planned to be used up first. I know many people who do continue their weekly buying and end up throwing what is already there in the fridge from the earlier week. Same is applicable for the non-fresh produce as well. If I buy some non-typical items that I may chance upon sometime, like a different type of dal or flour or pasta when I buy from a supermarket, I note it down on a piece of paper before I put them inside the cupboard. This paper is stuck on the fridge and I refer this while making the meal plan. This ensures I don't discover it when I clean my kitchen cupboards much later, well after the expiry date of these items. More importantly, the meal planning ensures I do not end up having to rush to the shop or call for home delivery for any emergency stuff that I am running out of. I make it a point to buy groceries once a month, or most of the time once in 1.5 months, and buy fresh veggies and fruits once a week. Over the years, I have realized that going to shops, especially supermarkets, is a huge drain on time. Not only the time spent in going, looking for things, etc., but even figuring out what all to buy, then putting them in their containers every now and then. So meal planning helps me to stick to the monthly once or once in 1.5 months buying routine. The second type of resources is in terms of people and the effort involved in meal preparation. Like I said earlier, it helped plan what vegetables need to be cut, and if some of them were laborious, we took our maid's help or cut it ourselves the previous night and stored it in the fridge. I love combining this kind of an activity with listening to some podcast or sometimes watching a TV program. It also helped inform everyone in the house how to pitch in and help each other. In my house, my mother-in-law has a habit of getting up very early, and I don't get up that early. Since she knows what is a meal plan, she makes it a point to keep a batch of items, be the dal and rice or vegetables, to be steamed in the pressure cooker. So by the time I wake up, the pressure in the cooker is settled The contents are ready to be used for cooking. Same is the case when we make elaborate stuff. My kids and husband join me because they know something like this is coming up. Now that my kids are older, I tell them to make a certain dish or salad end to end. Knowing this is the plan helps them to plan their day accordingly, be it the homework or shows they want to watch or whatever. Then this point on more variety. I remember feeling pressured to cook many varieties of food. It was as if all these options were there, and why am I not trying these? And that too restaurant quality and variety. It took me some time to conclude I am not wanting to run a multi-cuisine restaurant. However, I still like the option of trying to figure out different items that can be made with the same ingredients or with the same vegetables. It is indeed fascinating to see how the same material has been used by different people differently. Once my children started eating from their friends' houses and they started traveling, they became much more interested in trying out regional dishes made in a homely manner. And I observed many of these dishes do not demand a huge amount of complexity. I realized this after I started assembling a very chosen set of recipe sites, YouTube channels, recipe books as my go-to places for trying out different things. I have accumulated some of these as separate Pinterest boards for dinner, breakfast, etc. So at the time of meal planning, I look for some items from this list that I want to try out for a particular meal that week. There are some weeks where I don't try anything at all, and some weeks when I am excited about trying out different things. I don't feel pressured to try out for the sake of trying out. I know my meal planning routine takes care of this urge. A very big benefit of meal planning is saving time. This clearly was a benefit I did not expect at all. Well, a dish takes the same amount of time to cook regardless of whether you plan to make it or decided just then. I thought so too, but in reality, it's different. I tend to cook faster when it is already planned. Somehow the subconscious mind tells you what to do next and how to do many things in parallel, and over a period of time this happens so much inside your brain automatically that it simply flows. I know I'm not conveying it in a more tangible way, but then I'm unable to put across this in words. All I can say is, just try it. The subtle impact of the meal planning process is much more. When the complexity around the meal process is addressed through meal planning and the obvious benefits it brings, it opens up avenues for many things. My kids invite people home for meals all the time, and they tell me they will also be there to help in the preparation. They are not looking for validation in terms of what is served to their friends when they come over. It's more like they are going to have a good time with their friends, and a mealtime also happens to occur. And when we have guests coming over, which is not factored already as part of the meal planning process, I ask my kids to buy any additional stuff. And based on their age, what I could ask them to get and the extent to which I had to give instructions was sometimes not very encouraging. I have many times felt it would be easier for me to go and buy rather than give all these instructions. Same for cooking. Easy for me to cook than to tell them how to make something. But then I always remember the old proverb, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So you could ask them to buy a packet of milk or curd and graduate to buy ripe tomatoes or fresh coriander, and then eventually ask them to buy vegetables for the week. It's not so simple, but then it will happen. Just try it. Talking of subtle benefits, I would like to highlight gender parity as a big shift in thinking when you do meal planning. If not for any other reason, do it for this sake. It's easy to see a talk show on gender issues and take sides. It is quite a different thing to realize how it is playing out in the roles we play as adults in our own house and what our children imbibe from the same. How do we want our children to view the roles of who will cook and handle the kitchen responsibility in their house when they become adults? It is their life and they should decide. But it is also our duty to seriously examine the habits that we form in our house and thereby what foundation we build for them. And then there is this shift in thinking that happens in the family. You are not there because you will get food on the table. You are there for who you are, the person you are, and not the cook or food manager in your house. Relax, loosen control of the kitchen, and find the time and mental space to engage in many more interesting things. If from all of this you think a meal plan is going to solve all your problems, no, it is not. It just ensures a thought process or strategy that decides a very important aspect of your life. And believe me, having a meal plan doesn't mean you're going to follow it to the T every single day. Surprises do happen. What is life without surprises? But then, every day is not surprise either. Having a meal plan takes care of most days, most meals. You can handle the exceptions that come in the form of surprises. So come on, I invite you to first make a master list of breakfast, lunch or dinner and snack ideas first. Then make a list of recipes that you would like to try out. Yeah, this is optional of course. And then make the meal plan for the coming week and put it up somewhere where you can see it very easily. Do try this for 1 week and see how it works. Be prepared to take some time, at least a few months, before you start seeing the obvious benefits. Another approach is to start meal planning just for the week, I mean the working week, or just for the weekend. It is up to you how you want to do it. Of course, you are the new Indian woman. Nothing can stop you. Remember, you are what you want to be, and the time starts now. This has been the New Indian Woman with your host, Krishna. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and will tell your friends about this podcast. In case you haven't already, please subscribe to this show by clicking on the subscribe button. This means you will get my new episodes automatically and you will be able to listen to them every time I publish the next episode. Do visit my website, thenewindianwoman.com, for related blogs on this topic. Of course, I would love to hear from you. You could rate or leave a comment in your podcast app or write to me at krishna@thenewindianwoman.com. Thanks once again. I look forward to more sharing in the next episode, and please don't forget this. You are amazing. Fill your life with lot of laughter and fun. Only you can do it.